welcome back to the Personal Healthcare Reform Talk Show on Pegasus NetWaves, taking your health to a higher level. And I've got a huge, monumental, iconic guest on today, so I'm going to rush through the health and the news today because I'm giving him extra ample time for the health out there. And of course, this is the second part of the Movember show, all about men's health. And so you're going to love my guest because, like I said, he's an icon. If you don't know who he is, you've been hiding under a rock for the past 30 years. So let's start off with, of course, go to clinicfuquay.com, go to personalhealthcarereform.com. There's going to be some updates and upgrades to both of those with new health partners coming on. So let's talk about my current health partners. MedCall Assist. Check these guys out. You get an ER doctor on your phone. It's cold. It's wintertime. You might get stuck in the snow. Nothing better than having an ER doctor on the phone if things go wrong. Plus, they can medical lift you out of there, too, in a helicopter. On them for 5 times a year. Nice service. Also, works with the ambulance and everything else. They do custom medical kits. Amazing company. Also, Kinesi. It is Christmas time coming up. So if you have somebody in your family that works out or somebody that's going to start getting into working out, you might as well get them the best athletic clothing they're ever going to have. Kinesi has got it. They've got active cotton. It's non-synthetic. It is actually real cotton. Fantastic, phenomenal stuff. They have their own patent on it. And the lock, too. So anybody that you know that's a runner, a biker, or anything like that, especially for the guys, it is Men's Health Month. So, I mean, the lock is made specifically for guys to keep everything held in place because you don't want stuff moving around whenever you're running and biking. You just don't. Seriously, you don't. But it helps out with support and stability. And, of course, ID Life. Go on. Take the free health assessment. January's coming up. You might as well start living that healthy lifestyle before January gets here. We've got the tools to help you out with that. So we got the health assessment. We've also got our brand new app. The app is $4.99 a month for anybody to use. Custom exercise, custom diet, amazing stuff. And, of course, my new partner, Human, which is connecting man to nutrition. And if you have an office, you need better snacks in there. Yes, you do need better snacks in there. You really do. Human takes care of that. Phenomenal company. I'm going to have them on here first part of the year to talk about what they do specifically for businesses. And that's going to roll into my Fortune Under 50 program, which kicks off in January. And until January, I've got 5 open spots for anybody that wants to try this program out for your company. This is for any company that has 50 or less employees specifically, because if you don't have a wellness program, you need a wellness program. You better get one instilled now. Also, I have a new company that's going to be coming on called Healthy Home Company. They will be one of my brand new partners coming on in January. We're going to talk a lot more about them. We're actually going to have their CEO on here. They're going to be a big part of this show coming up, just so you know. And also, Living Healthy, Living Smart Club. This is an online magazine that I'm a part of now. I'm their official health and wellness provider for them. Tons of great information with them, tons of videos. You're going to see me actually doing exercises for you. On there. So check that one out. That one launches December 1st. And on to health in the news. Oh, yeah, one more thing. December 7th, of course, I work with Divas, Divorcing Independent Very Able Survivors. We have a stoplight mixer, so anybody here in Dallas, if you're single and you're ready to mingle, wear some green, come join us. It's a stoplight mixer. You wear red if you're taken, yellow if it's complicated, green if you're single and ready to mingle. I will be wearing white because I'm the Divas Sheriff. So if you run a red light, you're in trouble. I'm the guy you talk to if you run a red light. So that's going to be at Hibishi, December 7th, $15 before there or $20 at the door to join us for that. And now hitting the hot news very quickly. Basically, for Thanksgiving, if you're going to use some oils for cooking, switch out the vegetable oils. Get some coconut, get some olive, get some palm, get some avocado, get some macadamia. Much better for you, much better tasting food as well. And if you're going to fry that turkey, use the olive oil. And don't use too much oil because otherwise we're going to see you on YouTube with that house burning down. We don't want to see that. I mean, it's fun, but nobody wants to see a house burn down during Thanksgiving. And before you go out shopping, EWG, they've got their food scoring system. It's a 1 to 10 system. You want anything that has a 1, EWG.org. Check that out. Download their app on your phone because it will really help you out with making sure you get the best quality food for you and your family this holiday season. This way, everybody has a healthy, happy holiday season. We all want that. And I'm going to leave you with that because I've got I've got an icon on the show, so I gave him extra time. Otherwise, go to clinicfuquay.com, personalhealthcarereform.com. and enjoy the rest of the show.
Have you taken time to plan for your financial future? Or have you not really given it much thought at all, and maybe even avoided it? Hi, I'm Angela Tweeten, known as the Lucrative Lady, Making Money Simple. I help people break down all of the financial lingo and rules so that they can understand the velocity of money and then plan for, capture, and enjoy their later years. Check me out at thelucrativelady.com.
Hi, this is Rodney Pearson. Are you a blogger or a researcher and you're looking for a place to publish? Well, send me an email at rodney@hippopolitics.com. I'm looking for articulate researchers and bloggers to publish on my site dealing with issues of what the left is doing in America. So send me an email at rodney@hippopolitics.com if you are interested in writing on my site.
This is Brian Cuban, best-selling author of Shattered Image. You can buy my book on Amazon.com and contact me to speak at your college or university at brian@briancuban.com.
And we are back, Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show on Pegasus Netwaves, taking your health to a higher level. And I've got a special guest on with me today. Huge guest. This guy he's an icon. I'm gonna call him an icon. He's blushing right now as I call him an icon. But he is. So if you're anywhere in the DFW area or anywhere around the world, or actually around the U.S., you probably know who this guy is. It is Larry North. And because this is November, also known as Movember and No Shave November. Larry is, of course, not taking advantage of the No Shave November. He is especially shaven. But I've got Larry North on the show today. And, Larry, thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure, Clint. It's a long time coming, too, so I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on here because, like I said, you're an icon. You've had your own radio show for 30 years now?
Close to 30 years. Yeah. I like to tell people I did start young, so I'm not as old as that sounds, but I am older than I wish I was. So
He started when he was 8, so he's only 38. He's like a year older than me. So, but yeah, I want to really thank you for coming on here because, like I said, you've been all over the place. You had your national tour, your bus tour back in the 90s.
I had a very successful show called the Great North American Slim Down, and interestingly enough, it was not only number one in this country for almost a decade, but it was in Canada, New Zealand, Australia. I remember visiting New Zealand, getting on a bus, and the guy looks at me, he goes, "Hey, you're that Great North American Slim Down guy, Larry North." I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Clear other end of the country. And, and I've had my fair share. I've done the Larry Kings and Joan Rivers show and Donnie and Marie and Maury Povich. So I had a real nice run of a lot of media. And then, of course, in North Texas, a lot of local media as well. And as you mentioned, 30 years on radio. And this April is our 26th year in business in the gym business too. So at heart, I'm a gym guy. I love being in the gym business. I love the fact that we have a young company, yet the oldest people in the company are guys my age, but we started together in our 20s and we're still together, and it's fun. It's been good.
Yeah, and you're doing some expansion now too.
A little bit. We got into the club management business, and it's really, we sort of rolled the dice, sort of tested the market, and we have two great products. One in particular, we just got lucky. Blackstone Private Equity Group bought the whole property, and I will, for the first time in my life, Clint, have a crown jewel that I thought would have eluded me in this industry by having a 40,000 square foot club designed the way I would do it and equipped the way I want it with no holds barred. So I'm excited about that, and you'll have to come to our party, which will be sometime next year.
Okay, yeah, I will be there. Count me in.
And also too, I took the Great North American Slim Down was so successful. 1.5 million customers joined that product, and we just pre-launched my Slim Down America, and going really well, and I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be a fantastic program. Well, because you always put together great programs. You always have.
Well, you know what, Clint? I've chosen to not try to be a jack of all trades, and when it comes to product development, focus on what I think I do best or aspire to do best. One is connectivity. I believe I connect very well with people that struggle with weight control issues. The other thing that I think I do really well is help people create behavioral change, because you could have all the great tools and programs and trainers, but if you don't change the way you behave and change the way you think, you're short-lived in your results.
Oh, yeah. And I know you've always talked about with your past and everything, and you make jokes about it up on stage, that if you eat one thing too many, the six-pack is gone. You're going down a whole different road.
Well, it may take 6 months to get it, and it'll only take about 6 hours to watch it disappear. Exaggerating a little bit, but not too much. Yeah. And I know most people will be somewhat shocked to hear that about you, just because you are Mr. Health and Fitness, and you've been around for forever, and the fact that you do have that preponderance for gaining weight fairly quickly. Yeah, I come from a really long line of people that really struggled with their weight. I mean, my great-in-laws, my great-great-in-laws, my grandparents on my mother's side primarily were all obese way before they even had a definition in Webster's dictionary for the word. And I definitely inherited that gene. But I will tell you this, especially the last decade, I really, through the habits that I've created for myself, even in spite of my love of food and my insatiable appetite. See, I believe that people that really, really, really struggle with weight control, and I don't know the science behind it, but we don't have a shut-off valve. We can continue to eat even way past the point of hunger, and it's like nonstop. And so being able to control that, so like what's real popular phrase right now is eating clean, right? You hear that a lot. I'm a clean eater, and people need some definition on that. But I tell people, when I eat clean, I eat a lot, because it's not calorically dense food. So, for example, a plate of 2 whole eggs and 8 additional egg whites is not even a couple hundred calories, maybe a couple pieces of toast and a cup of oatmeal. I'm still under 350 in calories. However, if I don't eat clean, meaning making bad food choices, I eat a lot less. And that's been the biggest change, so that I can still allow myself and give myself permission to make bad food choices, but instead of that pizza that gets delivered, eating that and that one that came half price with it, I'll just have a couple slices, and I'll make a better bad choice type pizza in the process too, with going extra veggie, extra cheese, maybe extra sauce, maybe light cheese or no cheese, and things like that. So.
Yeah, which most people don't think about that. It's almost, I tell people, it's a lot like investing. If you make really good investments whenever you're younger, you see huge results with that as you.
Well, it goes back to, you alluded to, I come from historically a family that struggled with weight, but the reality is habits will far outseed genetics. Even those that have good genetics for muscle gaining and low body fat, if they carry on bad habits, they're going to even struggle even more down the road as they age, because they never had to make those adjustments.
Yeah, and there's some genetic stuff that goes on with that, and there's been quite a few studies that have come out now that it's actually a 3-generation thing. Of if you got one generation that's obese, it takes about 2-3 generations after that to rewire that genetic coding.
Right.
And it takes about 1 generation to unwire it. Again, so, it comes.
They say that with money too.
One generation makes it, the other one builds it, and the third generation just blows it all. We see that every once in a while. So since we're here, and it is Movember, and this is Men's Health Month, let's talk a little bit about men, specifically 40 and up. Because whenever you hit 40, things change. Everything changes as far as hormones. Genetic coding just changed a little bit. Lifestyle, your life is completely different because you're married, kids, all that stuff. Not me. I'm still a consummate bachelor, but of course I'm 2 years away from 40. So, but let's
not a bad thing necessarily, by the way.
Yeah, but let's talk about the 40 and up, and what guys need to start looking at if they are out of shape, how to get back in shape, and if they are in shape, things that they need to consider for the next 10, 15, 20 years, because things really do change rapidly from 40 into the 60s.
Well, 40-somethings tend to react a little differently than 50-somethings on the hormone issue. And I tell people, just like in business, you cannot manage what you don't keep track of. If you own a small business, maybe you only have 3 employees, but you don't do a monthly financial meeting, you don't look at your checkbook, you don't look at accounts receivable, you don't look at money going out, you're going to probably go out of business in time just on that alone, even if your business is thriving, because you have to manage it. You have to manage your health the same way, and there are certain numbers that you need to manage. And it's highly unlikely that you hit 45 and your testosterone just happens to automatically start increasing. It's going to decrease, even if you lift weights, even if you eat correctly, even if you take supplements. And you have to get those hormones checked, because what could easily happen, and you don't even know it, you're eating good, you work out regularly, you do take your supplements, but you're not getting the results you want. You're a little tired. You don't feel like going to the gym. You're a little lazy. You're less interested in sex like you used to be, but you think it's because you're busy and you work and you're sleepy all the time. Well, it could be a game changer for a lot of men over 40, 50, 60, 70. I have a guy that I met at age 55. His name is Mike Fisher. He was easily 70, 80 pounds overweight. He was a golfer, but he didn't golf till late in life because he worked his butt off in these pawn shops. But he's from the country. He redid his barn to be a golf training center, and literally within 5 years became a scratch golfer, won the golf championship where I golf at. Oh, wow. And we became buddies. And he noticed that when everyone would, after golf, they'd order food, I always ordered differently. I ordered grilled chicken, dry sauce on the side, steamed rice. And he started asking me a lot of questions. And within a short period of time, he made a few adjustments, a few changes. He just sent me a photograph he took at age 65 where he is ripped. He has abs. He has a chest muscles. He's got a small waist. And at 65. And so I'm like, wow, he looks amazing. But I look at him as more of a metaphor that anybody, any age, male or female, can do it if they follow these simple steps of eating correctly, exercising regularly, a combination of a little cardio and muscle building exercises. And you got to live good too. I mean, you don't want to smoke, and you want to get good rest and recuperation, et cetera. We know, all the components. But for example, I have a close friend. He's 44. And I mentioned to him, I said, you might want to get checked. And he was real defiant. Like, I don't need it. First thing they always say is, I have a great sex life. It's not always about libido. You just offended
his manhood.
Yeah, it's they really take it offensively. And I can speak for myself, is when I was really struggling in my late 30s because I was doing everything I knew to be correct, going down to Houston once a month to meet with my nutritionist, Keith Klein, and finally said, man, I'm going to send you to an endocrinologist. I think something might not be right because your body fat's increasing, and I believe you when you say you're doing everything correctly. And they checked my testosterone, and it was a female endocrinologist, and she actually said she had quite a bit of a sense of humor. She goes, I've got really good news and really bad news. She goes, the bad news is, for your age, your testosterone's the lowest I've ever had as a patient. And it's even below low. She goes, the good news is, if you hurry up and get in your car, you might be able to make the third grade female basketball team. and so right then, I knew that I needed some help. And then literally within 3-4 months of testosterone therapy, it was a big game changer. Not everybody needs it too. Like I've had some friends in their late 40s, early 50s get it checked, and they're still sort of normal. Mm-hmm. But here's what happens, Clint. Let's say I know a professional athlete. I will not say their name. They are Hall of Fame football player, and we've become friends. And the subject of this came up, and he's late 40s. And he went to a very well-known clinic here in town. His doctor was older and looked at his numbers and said, for your age, they're fine. And he told me the numbers, and they were really low based on all the research I've done, based on all the medical professionals I've had on my shows. And he then said, but the doctor boasted, who's 30 years older than him, that his were higher. And I said, for your age doesn't make sense because there's norms that most medical professionals that are really in tune with hormones and hormone replacement know that if you're 18 or 80, it should be the same number.
Yeah, hormones are hormones, and
Yeah.
low normal is low normal, no matter what your age is.
No matter what it is. So, and that would be first, but also let's take the hormones aside, because we do know that there's no substitute for poor eating and for lack of activity.
You can't out exercise a bad diet.
Yeah, you can't exercise a bad diet, and if you're not doing anything, you can't expect anything good to happen. So, they've got to make some subtle changes even in their eating program. And listen, I've heard so many excuses as to why people cannot or don't exercise that honestly, I think they play in an old reel in my head and circle in my brain to the point where it's white noise, and I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I mean, I see people. I've seen people in wheelchairs wheeling their way up to a gym that doesn't even have any handicap proper. Restrictions for them to be able to get into the gym.
They're rolling up the
they'll
steps.
figure out a way to get in the gym, and they're working out. So there's just no excuses. You must move your body. Now, you don't have to go with that no pain, no gain approach because, honestly, Clint, because I know that you work out hard, and I know that you're in an environments where you do train athletes too. It's different for an athlete. There's a risk-reward factor for them. They have to train.
Well, sometimes they're getting paid to go through the pain.
Yeah, and so, but consistency and regularity, and I always say, one of the things that I did do, and I will take a little credit, I was one of the first group of trainers. If I wasn't the first in Dallas, I was definitely in the first 10. And one of the things I loved about training people is and one of the gift that I had is I knew just how hard to train them and how hard not to train them. When I saw that
secret.
bead of sweat, and I knew that they'd had enough, tapered it down, let them go, so that they left invigorated, not wiped out or exhausted. And there are some other things too where I did. People didn't want to disappoint me, so I was pretty good on that part. Like if I trained them on a Monday, they didn't want to show up on a Wednesday, say that they got drunk on a Tuesday and they ate a bunch of bad food. So that was good. And also making people feel really special and unique. I always feel like when I trained somebody that I wanted them to feel like they were the most important person on planet Earth during my 1 hour with them. And I hope that most of them, I did crazy stuff. Like I would be at the door waiting for them to come in so I could just open it. And then I would walk them to their car, open the door for them, let them come in. We didn't have social media and smartphones, but we had a dial-up phone, so I would call and leave a message on their voice recorder before they could listen to it at home saying, man, Bob, it was just, you did such a great job today, man. Just thank you. So, and I would tell you this, that our 40, 50, 60-year-old brethren, they need encouragement. They need a little encouragement. They need someone to a go-to like you or me and dozens of other wonderful professionals in our area too.
Yep. Yeah, and it's the nice thing about you is you do spread this around. I mean, it's one of the best things that I've found with you since we've been talking the past couple of years is you are incredibly giving.
Well, I appreciate. I'm humble too because I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've just at my age now. I'll be 54 in February. I get such pleasure out of just the most simplest. Walking my dog, taking it to the dog park, going to bed early like at 8:15. I mean, I just love stuff like that. But the best advice I ever got, and I'm going to hand it to you because you're young, is help others become successful, and you will be successful in the process. And I have adhered to that. I've always wanted people I've identified people that have great skills and passion, especially in our realm, in our industry. I want everybody to do well. I feel like we're all interconnected with the same goal, and we come from an industry that has these unwarranted egos. And it's like, wow, it's like it's not a my way or the highway. It's like we can help each other. The pie is so gigantic that no one's going to miss out if they lose a client or two.
We're dealing roughly with about 10% of the population in the fitness industry, and we got this whole other 90% of the population out there that we can.
And by the way, my Slim Down America is geared towards the 90. It's not the people that are in the gyms, and
Yeah, and actually, while we're here, let's talk about that right quick, so we can kind of finish out the show with things that you've got going on. The American Slim Down, anything new at Larry North Fitness?
The gym business, I just love it. I mean, I'm again, you attract what you seek. I've attracted some amazing people to my organization, some that have been with me for 24 years, 22 years, 19 years, and I have our administrative person, Natalie, started at age 19. She's 36 now. So we've sort of all grown up together, and so the gyms will remain a small organization, but we feel we're a really good organization. And then on the Slim Down America, you can go to slimdown21.com. You can sample the program for 3 days. That's slimdown21.com. And we just signed Kelly Raspberry from the 106.1, and I feel she's an icon in this area and even nationally with her Dish Nation TV show. So really just good stuff. I mean, I feel like even though I'm older now, one thing that I've learned, like right now, to do your show, I'm in the middle of a 3-day managerial training program, because you're just never too old to learn new techniques. Because if you manage people the way you did in the 80s and 90s, you're out of touch, because the generations are so different. The way people process and learn and teamwork, and it's a little bit gentler society in a sense. So you have to also accommodate your management style to the people you work with. So I felt like I needed a refresher course. Yeah,
there's a lot going on. You got 3 different generations,
and also too, ID Life too. I really, like, this is a company that's new. You and I are working with them, and without even really trying, I've got I'm close to a couple hundred people in my what they call a downline, and I like it. I enjoy it. It's the first time I've ever aligned myself with a nutrition company or a network marketing company, and it's fun. I feel like guys like you and I. In fact, it's real interesting. You'll love this. The day they asked me to become a wellness ambassador, I was the first one.
Yeah.
And I said on one condition. They said, "What's that?" That you don't limit the amount of wellness ambassadors that we can bring on stage, because there's so many talented, thoughtful, caring, educated people that I want to be aligned with them, not be on stage talking at them.
Yeah, exactly.
They were shocked, by the way.
And I was there the night that they announced you as our first fitness ambassador. And of course, I walked in. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He goes, "You're about to hear why."
That's funny. Like, that's great. Yeah, and you've been a supporter from the day I met you, and I truly appreciate that.
Well, we're here to build.
Yeah.
And that's the point. So with that, how do people get in contact with you? Anything new with the gyms?
I'm easy. You can go LarryNorth.com. You can go SlimDown21.com. You can go Larry@LarryNorth.com, which is my personal email. And if you can't find me in Dallas, then I must be running from something. And so far, I don't know if I've ran from anything. I'm pretty much an open book. So I'm pretty accessible.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show, and best of luck with. I'm wishing you best of luck with your new program.
I like luck though, so thank you.
So everybody out there, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back in December.